Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game of today's LEC 2025 matchup.
Because I played against both 113 and Paris last year, and I thought they were really good. So for me, it's been kind of baffling to see them look so disjointed and look, frankly, just bad in moments, when I think that they're both really good players that have a lot more to show than this. And I've been in a similar situation myself when I played in LEC in 2023. I think I looked really bad. And I can understand that sometimes the pressure, when you're on a team, it's a new dynamic, everything is very different, that things can go bad. And I'm hoping that in this game today, we can see a better 113, we can see a better Paris, and we can see a close, aggressive BDS, and a nice Fnatic that we have been seeing battle it out.
A good even matchup. Of course, Fnatic, if they win this, they do lock playoffs with a week left. A week is only 3 games, but it is important to note for BDS. Dropping down to 2-4, it's not going to conclusively eliminate them in any way, shape, or form, but it will force them in a situation where if you want to be anything other than like 7th or 8th, you're going to really need to win out in that final week, and that's a tough task for any team.
Yeah.
Can be exceptionally grueling. For now, though, we enter the draft.
Wow.
Vi locked in. The opposite side, we're going to see immediate Varus Nidalee. You wanted to see...
I wanted to see some fighting and aggression, and 113, his game plan against this Vi is going to be punish it early game, look to invade, look to get a camp lead, look to impact lanes, and just overall be everywhere on the map and try to outpace this Vi and generate a lead that way. And it's going to be a Kalista answer from Fnatic, so they're kind of answering fire with fire here, because they now want to contest through bot lane with the Kalista fighting and not allowing Nidalee to make her plays that way.
And I like the philosophy of matching fire with fire. Fnatic, obviously, one of our strongest early game teams. I think probably our strongest.
Probably the strongest, yeah.
Yeah, strongest early game team overall thus far from what we've seen. So backing up that playstyle choice with some strong early game picks, Rel, Kalista, Vi, great tools to force these fights if 113 does ever miss position. But you've got ice on something comfortable like the Varus. The question really is, what can you get out of Nidalee? Nidalee, a champion that historically has really good games.
Now I'm wondering,
or terrible games.
What does BDS answer here? So they could go for either a Braum. Oh, no, they just go for top lane. Well, for the support pick, they could go in 2 different directions. They could go for something like a lane counter, like Braum, but it's very weak with Nidalee because you really want to engage. Or they could go for something that's a game counter like Alistar, but has a very weak level 1. I really want to see Nautilus, because that's a decent champ into Rel, but it has a really good early game, and it synergizes greatly with Nidalee as you just hook and then spear on the hook.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Vi and Bessa combo, but...
Scuffed, yeah.
Yes, Vi and Bessa. Long range and Bessa. Little game of Battleship, the old Nidalee Nautilus combo.
But it's cool. Sorry, I kind of cut you off there, but it's cool to see that BDS is just kind of running with this early game aggression, locking in the Renekton, locking in the Nidalee, and probably they've scrimmed Fnatic, right? And maybe they got stumped in the early game, so their conclusion was, we need to have a strong early game comp and actually win early game against them.
Well, and the thing, it's important to note, while there are 3 champions that can do well in the early game on either side, BDS is do or die.
Yeah.
BDS have put themselves under the gun, under the knife here, where it's like, you guys have to get something done early game. This is not a composition that will scale gracefully into the game.
Yeah.
Situationally, super powerful. Classic nightmare jungle top duo of the Renekton and Nidalee. Most situations outside early game, infinitely harder to pull off. Incredibly low floor in terms of what it can provide.
Yeah, and I want to see if BDS decides to try to get some of that scaling from Nuke, or if they just say, you know, we're going to go early game everywhere, and either we win in 15 minutes or we lose in 15 minutes. Now we also have Fnatic pinching out the support pool with Alistar. Ooh, and they go for the Corki ban, which would make sense, a lot of sense, to be honest, with BDS's draft. I'd assume we're going to see a Nautilus lock-in on 4 here, but maybe Paris will surprise me.
Can't take their time. They technically don't need to pick Nautilus. They could instead prioritize some sort of AD mid-blind pick.
I think you'd rather have a counter pick, especially since Corki's out.
No, I mean, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Might as well save your pick 5, unless you're worried about Humanoid taking something away from you.
Ah, Braum, I don't like it. Because, as I said earlier, it's really strong for the lane, but now you have Braum Nidalee. It's super easy to avoid any sort of CC, and they have no real lockdown. And it's just it's a really difficult comp to pull off. And I would want BDS to play an easier to play comp, especially when they have been struggling.
I like that BDS have the confidence to put themselves on that difficult footing. But I agree that I'm skeptical if this is the right choice for a team that has struggled in a lot of games. Now,
on a more positive note, though, it is really great at peeling off the Vi and the Rel. So it allows the Varus and Nidalee to play more cocky because you have some actual disengage from the Braum. Oh, and it's a Vi Rumble combo. This means it might be a Yone here for Fnatic or Smolder.
It could be a Smolder.
Smolder blind pick.
Smolder blind.
I feel like the buff
Someone cheered, whoever that is. I'm not sure about you. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't have time to talk to you about why you cheered, but I'm skeptical at the very least. And now Nuke. I kind of like if he just locks. I just think you beat the hell out of the Dragon.
Yeah, I think you want to lock in some strong early game poking champion like the Jace. And it's funny, we've seen Smolder twice. We casted both the games, and Nuke played a bit against it both times now.
What about the Caps game? We didn't cast the Caps game.
Oh, I'm wrong, actually.
Yeah.
I just lied.
Sorry.
I forgot about the Caps game.
Yeah, I think you forgot. I don't think you have to be so harsh on yourself.
Oh, well.
Will he build crit? That is the question. Essence Reaver Universal, but will it be a tier?
Yeah, I hope he doesn't go the Estra Manamune full mana build.
No, don't like that. All right, BDS, all about early game. They should just be able to punch Fnatic in the face with their early game power, but if they fail to do that, this game is going to get out of hand very, very quickly.
Yeah, and Fnatic just has such a nice, easy to pull off composition. You just start off with the Vi ult or the Rel engage, and then you layer the Smolder ult and the Rumble ult on top of it, and it's just such an easy, clean teamfight wipe. While BDS needs to play slow and methodical, they need to land the poke from Jace, Varus, and Nidalee, and they need to make sure that nobody's getting engaged upon. They need to play split from each other so they don't get wombo comboed. They have like so many conditionals that they need to meet to win fights, while Fnatic, it's kind of like they just need to press their buttons.
Yeah. Do you have R? Do you see multiple champs next to each other? If so, push R. If R hits, win the fight. Very simple, like decision-making tree.
I like how you made it sound complicated.
I did, yeah. Well, look, you talked for like 30 seconds straight explaining how BDS do things.
That's
so
true.
I think that the amount we both spoke, hopefully, if our words failed to do so, hopefully the quantity of words made it clear to people which of the comps is easier to play.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain how never mind.
I mean,
maybe we get standard lanes. I think the one thing that shuts this whole thing down is like if I look at these compositions in a world where lane swaps don't exist, one, I'm really excited because lane swaps don't exist, but two, yeah, I think a lot of like what makes BDS's comp good doesn't hinge on standard lanes, but is definitely can be disrupted very heavily by a swap.
I'm not sure if BDS wants to swap. I think they don't. I think both teams kind of want standard lanes. And that's why both teams ended up late invading each other's sides and putting down vision. Because the Kalista and Rel can generate an early lead against the Varus Braum, because Kalista is much stronger level 1. But a bit of cheese from Mickey here. Oh, nice bush usage here. He's going in and out, so Ice can't auto him. It looks like Ice is kind of trolling there, not autoing, but it's because he's playing well with Fog of War.
Rel getting a bit of a chip here. Stacking Conquer. E-start from Oscar.
I think Oscar... No, he didn't lose minions, did he? Of XP. I think he got all of it.
Maybe super relevant though, just has the Conqueror stacking up, knowing that Oscar cannot stick around without a Q.
Oh.
He walking in on level 1.
It's the power of Kalista, but doesn't result in much of anything.
Looks like Mickey missed a little bit of XP, slightly late to the level 2, but should not matter. Pressure in the favor of the Fnatic bottom lane for now.
But already now I'm curious, like, will 113 look to invade the Vi here on blue buff? It doesn't look like it. Smolder's actually getting prio against the Jace here, and it looks like 113 is just going to full clear into bot. But I think if I'm Fnatic and I'm seeing my jungler able to clear all 6 camps, I'm incredibly happy.
I think the big kind of prerequisite for the Nidalee, right, is that you need to be able to punish the Vi or at least get active sooner. As we pretty much always say when Vi comes in, I'm sure people are tired of hearing it. It's like if Vi gets to level 6 scot-free against any champ that's supposed to be stronger in the early game,
she's happy.
She's very happy, and you're very sad because...
Especially as Nidalee, who's like the premier invading high-tempo jungler.
And again, if you're going to go like Super Saiyan crazy good hands, I can see a world where you still outplay, but Razork can just push R.
And Razork's a very good Vi.
And Razork's a very good Vi. He can push all of the buttons, not just R.
He can pull off the Q flash on Vi consistently, which many of our junglers cannot.
Why does everything you say turn to shade for somebody? It's me, it's the pros, it's a build. 113. Angle not quite right there. Can still just leap in and get a small trade, but tanks a tower shot.
Has to be careful here. He's going to be able to back off.
I still think that even just a pressure gank isn't too bad early. You'd hope for more in terms of getting summoner spells, but at least you're doing something to assist your laners.
Yeah, but this is a Vi that gets her recall off before Nidalee even started the Scuttle Crab. I really wanted to see more from this Nidalee in the early game, because as Vi right now, I'm very happy. And Mickey with the cancel. Oh, but he might be trolling here, actually.
You can W over the wall. 1-1-3 might want to chase. Spear. Ooh, barely not connecting. Don't know if he'd want to chase that anyway. Doesn't have good information on where Vi is.
Upser here posturing aggressively because he knows Nidalee has to recall. They might even look for some sort of flash play with Mickey, or maybe it's a drip.
They only really have 3 casters here. I should just be able to clear this wave. I don't think there's a good angle to dive against the Braum. Guardian
It's a bit
now
optimistic,
procced.
yeah. Bit of a shame here because Razork loses some of the tempo lead that he built up over the Nidalee, trying to look for this play. But it's still a very good situation for him. They're kind of matched opposite sides of the map.
I'm not sure who comes out on top. I'm checking in on mid lane really quick. I'll say Humanoid doing surprisingly well for a matchup that I would have expected to be a lot more difficult early on. Last time we saw this, it was Nuke into Camilla. It was the Corki instead of the Jace, which I do think is much stronger in those early level trades, and it was unplayable.
Yeah, I think Corki has a lot stronger early game pressure, but I think this Drake start from Razork could be a bit greedy here. 1-1-3 might be spotted.
In, level advantage.
Rook has first move.
Razork trying to sidestep. Q over the wall. All in on the bottom lane. Flash over from 1-1-3. Razork trading flashes here. First blood for 1-1-3, and now Upset's going to be the one in trouble. Paris is ticking, but they desperately need to finish that kill. Hail of arrows. The spear doesn't connect. Upset should just die here. Mickey doesn't have anywhere to go. He reminds us the footwork is good, but he is going to get taken down. Q through from Paris to get the assist as well. Fnatic. 3 deaths in the blink of an eye.
And this was the early game I want to see from BDS. You pick champions that are able to fight, and Fnatic, they can't help themselves. They want to do the same. They want to match your aggression. They want to beat you early game, even with a worse early game composition. And that's when you catch them off guard. Beautiful mechanics from 1-1-3 there. Good bot lane skirmish. Great start to the game for BDS.
Definitely, and I think they needed that, right? Now Razork is kind of trying to force something here on the top side. We'll get at least 1 grub to slow down BDS potentially taking this objective. Kalista on top side first as well. So Fnatic.
Varus is dropping this top wave, looking to move here. Changes his mind. This is something Fnatic does so well. They're able to do these bounce back plays after they do a bad play and just immediately reset into a good proactive play for themselves. And overall they turn a situation that should have looked really dire, where they all die, into just free grubs and a push out on Kalista.
Yeah, I will say not entirely free. As you can see the gold at the top of your screen, there's a bit of a difference now brewing as the Nidalee.
Well, that happened before they got the free grubs.
True. But how do you decide when it's a cross map? What's the timestamp that we're looking at here?
You can't die and then respawn.
And then call it the same trade. All right. Relevant good damage out. Oscar in trouble. Trying to get out. Really no way to escape, and that's the power of this combo. 1-1-3 in Irrelevant. Well played by the side of BDS. First death of the game for Oscar yesterday. He was focused, shut down on the Jace pick. And it's a rough start here in day 3. The Rumble, we like the ult, we like what it could bring to a team fight, but with Renekton starting to build a lead with Nidalee ahead, it's going to be so tough to get the time to scale up.
And I'm loving this version of BDS we're getting here with 1-1-3 on a proactive carry champion that can make plays and make stuff happen on the map, where he's also able to play greedy and for himself. It's a joy to watch.
And I think shout out to BDS coaching staff and the players who enabled him to do this, right? A lot of the Sejuani gameplay, who's supposedly like the safe standard, right? There were still some hiccups. So to double down on your player and to say, hey, we'll give you something even more risky and more volatile is a bold call that's paying off for BDS. Is now Fnatic trying to force the dive. Ice locked up, really nowhere to go. Smolder ulting in for a bit of an assist. Blocked initially by the Braum. Should find the quick kill. Paris now going to be in trouble as well. TP there. Razork going to fall. That slow lasts for a year. Well played by BDS to get the 1-for-1, 5-1 the kill score, and a 2K gold lead.
And it was well played by BDS bot lane. They could have played it a bit better in certain aspects, but I like their idea of how they played the dive. But I hate the fact that Irrelevant ends up TPing in. So what you'd aim to see is when they send so many members up towards top, you have some sort of cross map. Jace is at least getting plates on mid, but Rumble is also to trade it back to get plates on bot. It's a really good play from Fnatic, and that Smolder ult, you could see how much damage it did. It kind of turned the tides of the dive. I think if they don't have that, they're actually not able to dive.
Also, again, Humanoid is this ticking time bomb. The Smolder eventually going to be that big threat against a composition where just about every single champion is squishy. Renekton even won't feel that tanky in the late game.
Yeah.
Parso on the Braum, I think the one really fantastic thing about having Braum in any composition is this champion just has some of the best support scaling in the game in terms of what you can get out of a well-positioned Unbreakable.
I mean, what BDS has that is nice against Smolder is the range, but they don't have any lockdown to speak of. So once the Smolder gets his rapid fire cannon and he starts to be a bit cocky with the movement, it gets really hard for BDS, unless they land significant amount of poke, to actually shut him down in team fights.
And maybe that puts more pressure on Ice, right? As the one form of non-committal hard engage. Varasalt, very flashable, but you know, we've seen even Flacket the other day for Team Heretics just having that all-star carry performance. You can do so much work if you find the right position with this champion in a fight. It's a little bit harder, admittedly, with the lethality build. It is more just about landing those Qs, but a clutch ult could be the difference.
To be fair, I think Ice has been maybe the best, or one of the best, at least, lethality viruses we've had in...
I argued last year I think he was the best. In terms of Qs hit, we had a lot of lethality viruses, not going to name any names, who missed those Qs in the clutch moment. I think if you look at just hit percentage, Ice is certainly top in the charts.
Oh, with
the same case this year. FaZe Rush, a good shout. Oscar Renan gonna fall again. No, the extra bit of shield. 113 now trying to save. Nice initial sidestep. 113 in trouble, but manages to get out of tower range in time. Yet another dive, the exact same spot. This time Jace instead of the Renekton, but BDS rinsing, repeating, making this Nidalee work.
Wow, and 113 is everywhere. And his laners are really able to set up the ganks well. Really good movement there by Nuke to get behind the Oscar and kind of insect him back into the Nidalee. And this Nidalee is getting fed.
2.3k gold lead, 1,000 of that in the hands of the Nidalee. Already finishing Leandries. It's going to be a nightmare for 1v1. Side laners are going to be miserable this game as well.
It's going to be another grub contester. Relevant's on the flank, but he might be the one getting flanked.
You in from Razork. Relevant really not concerned.
Wow, he's just clicking forward.
Dominus there. Paros on the way. Ulti from the Smolder. No hope really from Humanoid to extend this, but can just stack up at the very least. In the meantime, fight kicking off. BDS just lost Ice. Upset finding 2 kills. We might need to see that one again.
What happened?
I don't know. That was for sure POV of Irrelevant, though. He's just top lane.
I mean, I liked what Irrelevant was doing. He was going
fighting for his life. Quick pan over.
But then Paris is leaving his ADC to help a Renekton that doesn't really need it. And maybe there was some bad pathing from BDS.
We'll see it at some point.
Yeah,
the good news is for now, Ice is able to start. But okay.
Let's see here.
Paris sprinting. Everyone's eyes locked on the top lane.
But it looks like Ice is maybe just disrespecting the...
Good engage.
He has no flash.
This is the ultis. This is what you talked about, right? The Rumble paired with the Rel. It's so simple.
And then Nuke tries to salvage the play, but it's not enough. It's a good play by Fnatic, but you can see the disjointedness in BDS there. Paris wants to go help Irrelevant. Ice kind of left on his lonesome. And it just results in when you're against a snappy, good team like this Fnatic, they punish you for that instantly.
And a reminder of the power of proactive CC, right?
Yeah.
They can pull the trigger. It's not a luxury that BDS have. BDS have to be playing better on the setup, have to be setting up better vision so they don't end up in these situations again.
And you could see, even when Paris did reach Irrelevant, he throws a Braum Q and it's like, okay, that's it. My job here is done.
Hey man, that's a winter's bite, okay? It matters, I swear. I mean, because again, in theory, it's good if you can get the enemy team to fight into you, but I think this is a situation where I bring up kind of what you were talking about in draft, where having that more proactive engage tool, even if it might have costed them a little bit in the lane, certainly would have paid off here in the mid game. Now that they do have this lead on a champion like the Nidalee.
And also, it's so scary seeing this Smolder build up a gold lead against this Jace. I feel like he's going to be a real menace in this game. Just the ulti in and of itself is starting to do so much damage.
Frustrating to deal with. 115 stacks for Humanoid, about to tick over to the next threshold at 125.
That's taking the plant.
Razork going in, just walks in and smites it.
Whoa.
Now the ulti onto 113, they're desperate to find that shutdown. Mickey trying to follow up, good interrupt from Pars, so buying a lot of space. Razork, the flash in, they're trying to lock him up. One more stack of the custom blows and they get him. Don't have vision in the bush, but they don't need it. In the meantime, Mickey cut down as well. Fnatic hungry for shutdowns, but cost them a couple lives in the process. They do get the smite steal, but now BDS are on the chase.
And Razor gets super over-eager there. It's a beautiful steal from him, but after that, he flash ults into the whole enemy team, and Paris plays it beautifully, abusing the Braum pick to CC the Rel, so Rel can't follow it up. It's just a bit puzzling decision-making from Razor, and a really nice punish by BDS.
Again, yeah, good punish. Unfortunate that they were not able to secure the Drake, and from Fnatic, obviously in hindsight, probably should have been happy just taking the Drake and walking away.
Yeah.
But you can see that cat has $400 in her pocket extra, and Razork really wanted that money.
Like, it looks like when Fnatic get this, you're like, oh, you got the Drake, good job. But then flash ulting in when our carries are so far away, and Razork plays it well to try to get out, but Paris says no, flashes after him, gets the auto, locks him up, and Irrelevant also abuses the fact that Paris hits a random Q onto Mickey to just flash W him, lock him down, 2 clean kills for BDS.
I'm going to say right now, that's Ambessa brain. He thought his top laner was playing Ambessa. That is, they've been playing that composition.
To be fair, they have Rumble vibe, which is like the same thing, but I think Rumble was...
Yeah, not quite in position. Instead, covered the retreat. But certainly the Callista and the Smolder were not able to follow up. Ooh, that Winter's Bite hitting is big, but BDS don't want to overchase.
Paris is a very good Braum. In the BDS, or in the EMM Masters semifinals, he played Braum all 3 games, and he stumped us.
That is...
He hit every Q. Well, now he missed.
Nice stun. Cast your curse. That's your new power. Don't abuse it.
Oh, yeah, no, yes, cool. It's still I forgot about it.
But good on BDS. Again, small incremental advantages continuing to choke Fnatic out on the map. We're looking to.
Looks like they're going to get the first tower, though, for the feats of strength. And, ooh, 1-1-3.
In. They really want to get this kill. 1-1-3 now running. We'll probably be able to take out Mickey, but maybe they can get a kill back. Paris just denying all this damage. Braum so damn obnoxious. Seeker's arm guard doing so much work. Cleanse from Upset. A lot of spears stacking. Upset on a rampage. He wanted the Q through for the extra spears, but the timing didn't quite line up. 1 for 1, though. And in the meantime, BDS still able to grab that bot lane tier 1, so not a bad trade.
Yeah, good mechanics there by Upset, dodging every skill shot and then cleansing the stun immediately. And just overall kind of salvaging the play. I feel like Mickey maybe went a bit too overeager there, got a bit angry that his base was getting cancelled. Ends up being a tower for BDS, and they secure the feats of strength.
467 extra gold and growing for this Nidalee. But you said it, feats of strength. Especially for the Varus with the Swift Marches, this is going to be big. A lot of members of his team. A little bit extra tools to keep himself safe. A little extra movement speed is certainly going to help against the Rumble slows and the Smolder slows.
They're sieging on this mid tower here, and Smolder and Callista's bot and Smolder is far. They might be able to just get it. They can transition that into top dive and Herald maybe. Fnatic is really slow on this bot play. It's a good
multi-top.
Good Rumble ult to deny the cross map top.
He might still be in trouble. No, not willing to commit. Herald is up, so BDS happy with that. Maybe just harass Oscar, deny him, get that health bar a little bit lower so he can't come.
BDS is trying to bite off a little bit more than they can chew here, with both going for the Herald and going for this play on Oscar. But maybe they get.
I mean, 1-1-3.
I don't like it that much. It delays them a bit too much in the Herald take. You can see it resets, and it kind of diminishes this tempo advantage that they had. I would have liked if after Rumble ults the top wave, they say, well played to him, he cleared the wave, let's just get the Herald and let's keep this tempo up. Because now what you'll see is Fnatic is so far ahead in tempo, and I don't think 1-1-3 can even do the Herald anymore.
They're going to try to commit to it.
Oh, this might be tragic.
Razork in the area. None of the carries are here, however. But as you highlighted, BDS, there's too many waves that need attending. They can't commit enough members.
And even though they might get this Herald and it might look all good and well, the problem is that like Paris and 1-1-3 now really need to base, while Mickey and Razork can be the ones that are actually proactive since they just came off the base.
But the question is, ultimately, what do they do with that? Can they punish BDS for what was potentially too greedy a move? They got the Herald already.
Either they can lock them in this sort of map state, where the only way BDS can get out is by getting a pick if they are able to get this cheese.
Ooh, good word from Mickey. And yeah, they anticipate, and they try to account for Fnatic's advantage, assuming they'll overstep. Mickey dropping the ward spots to play at the very least.
BDS, I think, salvages it decently. They don't end up having to drop top tower. It's very common when you make a tempo mistake like this that you have to drop a tier 1 or have to drop like really hard vision to one side. But ends up being not too bad, and it was a good cheese attempt by them. And their first to move into Drake. But maybe Jace will get dove on this top wave here.
Razork covering.
It's a good hover by Paris here to try to defend this play, but I think he might be too late.
And credit to Paris. You call that his Braum in the semifinals in EUM, but it's just been everywhere here in LEC this game. to help protect against these dives. Fnatic not going to make the same mistake twice, 3 times? They've dove into pairs a number of times this game. It has not worked out really in any of them.
It's good that Ice is also hovering up here, but I don't like that they're fighting. They're still doing Drake.
Good engage. Initially going to kick things off. Humanoid now following up with that ult zone, trying to finish off the kill here. Upsetting there in the meantime as well. The TP's coming in, but might be a little bit late because now it's Ice who's been caught out. Mickey going forward. Ice going to be in trouble. The pullback is good initially on the Rel, and Ice goes down. Ice taken out, Upset and Mickey versus World, but Mickey already taken down as well. The Fnatic solo laners coming in clutch to help support them. The Dragon down. 113 is able to grab, but Fnatic finding so many kills on the top side.
Upset is dancing on the Kalista, and it's a beautiful prediction on the Kalista ult from Mikix onto Ice, who tries to flash away. But I have to wonder, BDS, you guys are getting Drake for free. Your goal is to defend this top tower. Why are we clicking so aggressively? We could just chill. Our most fed member is doing Dragon for free. If we just don't fight here, we're winning.
Yeah.
But we fight.
They thought they had a good angle to defend.
The mechanics, Upset flashes forward with the Kalista ulti so that Mickey can reach the Ice that's flashing away, and then Upset is kind of dancing, yumping.
I'm sorry, what?
Yumping?
Yumping?
It's the yumper.
There's a little Norwegian coming out there for the people?
He's a yumper.
He's a yumper.
If you ever see Tristana meta, it'll be yump meta.
Alright, yump meta. I'll wait for it. Look, I think at the end of the day that was a 2-for-2 trade, and it's important for people to understand that BDS, you think it's an even trade plus they get Drake, they're trading up a little bit?
2-for-2 trade? That felt like
2-for-2 trade. Well, Mickey and Razork both died.
Oh.
It's interesting.
It wasn't that bad. It felt really bad.
It felt really bad. But what I will say is trading against a team, trading even or slightly down against, or slightly up against a team that probably shouldn't have any business contesting you is going to make things much trickier, because Ice, who we kind of expected to be really central to the team here based on his earlier performances, is now 1-3. And he can't keep the enemy team at arm's race, but Upset is getting very scary very quickly.
Yeah. And Upset is playing really well mechanically this game. He's dodging all of the skill shots that he kind of needs to dodge. And this is a really cool Kalista game, because if you have good movement this game as Kalista, you can glide.
Yeah.
And you can glide hard. And especially with this new Kalista that scales much better. So essentially what they changed is her dash speed in the early game is slower, but her dash speed in the late game, once she has attack speed, is a lot faster. So if we see him clicking well this game, we can see some montage making.
Upset, pressure to find the montage. Humanoid, I think, will have a bit of an easier time as we go later in the game. Did go Shojin. Not sure if it'll be Rapid Fire next, what the angle is going to be, but about to tick over to 225 stacks, so we'll have the execute. BDS fishing.
BDS has full control over this Drake, and this is kind of their prime time here, where they just want to poke before the objective spawns.
Oh, I mean, if they, with the range advantage they have, if they get Ocean Soul,
That's true.
Either side gets Ocean Soul, it's a big deal, but BDS, it would certainly help push their lead ahead, which was at one point much bigger.
Fnatic to get Ocean Soul against Poke.
Oh, I mean 100%, but they're only at 1 Drake, so
That's true.
It's a little bit further away. It wasn't a personal attack. But I'm glad
Fnatic are wrestling back control of this Atakan. But they're dropping mid-wave for it.
It is a little bit awkward. So
they could use the Kalista Ren to try to kind of secure the objective, but they're kind of kiting it into Narnia here, so it's going to reset.
At the very least, Upset staying topped up.
And
yes.
they're just going to reset.
So, okay, it cost them about 400 gold, 300 gold to participate in that particular exchange. The Herald is now going to get dropped to just act as another pressure point, and it looks like BDS will use that to force Otacon.
Yeah, so Fnatic is just making the decision to fully ignore mid. They do not want to drop this Otacon, and they're willing to just fully drop resources for it. 235
on Humanoid and the ulti. If BDS don't overcommit here, they get damage for free, but if they do overcommit and they lose the fight, it would be disastrous.
And we need to see some good poke landing here from Nidalee, Jace, and Varus. Although this Rift Herald is doing work, to be honest.
I think for BDS, you got what you wanted. You see the reset now coming in from Humanoid.
Upset with a good cheese here.
Upset walking in onto Irrelevant. Irrelevant going to be forced back. Mickey trying to force the engage in the meantime as well. Rumble all down across the entire team in the midst of the Otacon pit. That's the shutdown. With only 4 members in the fight, Humanoid now TPing it 2. The Herald looking at another charge mid lane, but it might not matter. BDS only losing 1.
Really creative play by Upset there with the cheese. It's going to be a flip for the Otacon.
3K getting lower, 113 looking for redemption, but no! Once again, Razork's able to find it. This time when he charges in, there's a dragon to back him up. Shut down on a 113, a big bag of gold, and Upset going legendary.
At first I thought they got Elder there because I see the Smolder execute. And it's just a really good combination of the Rend plus the Vi Smite that doesn't allow 113 to try to get the steal. And as you can see, if BDS doesn't get the poke before the fight starts, it's a disaster for them. All you need is Rel to engage on someone. It wasn't even a crazy engage. He only got the Renekton, but just the fight needs to start. And Upset's also playing this fight brilliantly, not really getting hit by anything, which allows Fnatic to take full control of the Atacon, utilize the Rend plus the Vi Smite together. It's really beautiful.
Certainly is. And you know what? I was wrong. BDS had a lead, but it was in the end 2 Drakes to 2. Forgot about the one in the mid lane.
I can't believe you did that.
If you weren't here for Saturday, he made a cringy Drake joke, and I'm just trying to support him by also...
Well, now it's 3 Drakes.
now it's 3 Drakes.
And Irrelevant's angry.
Irrelevant, very frustrated, but this is not going to go well for him running. Paras trying to give his life, trying to body block as much as he can, but Ice is so weak. Upset is just...
Upset's aggressive.
You wanted to see him gliding. Does tank that spear, though, the slow. Making it a bit easier to land. And now Fnatic with a 1K gold lead. Sitting in an incredibly comfortable spot. How do they push this lead? That is the big question. So many teams, I won't say have squandered, excuse me, Atacon, but a lot of teams have struggled to use it to its fullest. It is 30 seconds till Baron at the very least. How much can Fnatic get?
I mean, I think the nice thing about Fnatic comp is that they can really easily start the Nash. I don't think they can really play for tier 2s unless they're willing to dive. But I would like to see them maybe just transition their pressure. Okay, they're going to make a Hail Mary play with this Atacon on both. And probably they're just going to be able or willing to die to... It looks like Upset doesn't want to. I mean, it's not even a cannon wave. It's nothing. I think they're just going to push this wave. They're going to look to reset, set up the Nash. What's really nice about Fnatic's team comp is that they can so easily turn from this Baron Nasher. They just need someone to get CC'd and the fight to actually start. And then it's going to be a clean wipe from them. On the other hand, it can be risky to start the Nash because if BDS then gets some poke, it doesn't give them that engage. And combined with the Nash damage, that can be kind of scary. But anyways, with the Atacon, they don't end up getting that much other than getting back that gold lead that they had lost earlier, which is really OP when you have a Smolder and an easier to play composition.
When you have a composition that should be, as you highlighted, more situations in which you'll be able to leverage your power and a better scaling champion in the mid lane and the vast majority of situations, you're okay to have maybe not the flashiest big objective. Like you can take a Baron just for gold and to buy yourself another couple minutes, or an Otacon just for some waves, maybe a tier 2 tower.
And normally when we think about Otacon, we want this huge leads, we want them to do a ton. But when you're scaling better and you have an easier to play composition, and you already got a lot of kills getting the Otacon, you're fine with just getting waves out pushed and trying to play it that way, especially when you don't have Nash buff and you're playing against champions that have incredibly good wave clear like the Jace and the Varus. It do be like that.
Certainly does. Humanoid just continuing to stay. We've got a bit of a pause. Not an actual pause, sorry. Hold your breath, it's fine. Gameplay is continuing, but it's slowed down. There's no... Baron's the big objective to fight for, but both sides kind of need to set their waves up. And without a dragon on the map...
There's a dragon on the map.
Oh my
Well, I do want to say...
Are we going to do this all year?
I want to say something ironic. The one thing that got buffed on Smolder is Infinity Edge. It's the only thing, and the champion's been considered trash. The 2 times, like we've seen Smolder 2 out of 3 times now, he hasn't built Infinity Edge.
Hashtag pro play.
Yeah. Makes you think.
It's just, every time we have a designer on the podcast on Euphoria,
Yeah.
they're just like, we have to mind control pros to play things sometimes. Like, there are champs that are OP for like 8 patches in a row, and we can just never get pros to play them. Sometimes it just takes like a little buff, like, ooh, 2 AD. And then people are like, actually, this champion's been insane. Why have we not been playing this for years?
Sometimes that's true, though.
Last year, MF got a 2 AD buff. Before we were on that patch in Pro, that same week, she showed up in every single stage game.
MF was OP. I don't know what to
And it wasn't the buff. That's what I'm trying to explain.
I don't know.
You're guilty of this, too. I could see it in your eyes.
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes just champ feels OP.
Yeah, I get it. It's based on the feels. You don't go to yourself, you're sitting here, you're in Ice's spot, you don't say, well, my Q is going to do exactly 680 damage if I landed on this target. You just go, it's going to chunk him. You've got a sense of how much that is and what that is.
But you can kind of feel how much damage it's going to do.
Yeah, you feel it. Again, you don't know the numbers, you just feel it out. Has to hit. That's an important part.
Gotta feel bad that.
Yeah, it does a little bit. That's the struggle with the lethality bars and why it has been hit or miss for us historically. Aha.
It's gonna be a Drake setup here for BDS, but now they have to try to face check, and that's the really hard part about this composition.
Well, you've crossed the point where Smolder poke really doesn't feel like much of anything early game, but
yeah, now Smolder's out poking your ulti.
Yeah, the snap bubbles are really starting to hurt. The ulti, the slow is going to set up for anyone else.
You see Ice, the Qs and Es are landing, but they're not really sticking well enough. I think they're going to have to drop this Drake, or if they try to contest it, it might be game over for them.
Humanoid off to the side, but again, the lack of proactive engage tools. So many games, so many compositions where you see that Smolder isolated, you can just immediately pull the trigger and go, but that is just not the case for BDS.
Mickey's doing a great job at just marking Irrelevant and not letting him flank whatsoever. Oh, maybe.
Mickey, decent chunk. Again, the poke is kind of what BDS want here, but there's just so many unknowns.
They are getting a little bit of poke, but I don't think it's enough.
You guys have to be careful about walking too far forward into this choke.
Oh,
Oscar Riddenall could be big. Upset chasing them away. Again, the Drake is the name of the game here. 113 miles away. This should be an easy pickup. Ice. Noble attempt on the steal. Fnatic now instantly retreating, seeing Mickey's health bars too low, knowing they don't have the Callisto ult. There's no reason for them to stick around. But BDS have to be careful about overcommitting into that brush.
you can see it's so hard for BDS. Even when the poke lands, they still have to take so much time to enter that it just feels really bad. It's so easy for Fnatic to turn with their engage that BDS is so slowed down that by the time they get to the objective, it's already gone, even when they actually get the conditions that they want, which is poking out Mickey and poking that engage out. And now it's Fnatic with first tempo into Nash, and it's going to be the same process all over again with them having control of this Baron Nashor.
BDS arriving mid-wave in a relatively even state. BDS are just going to ignore it for now. Try to get a bit of vision down.
Varus and Jace are very far. They might even look to just finish this with the Rend plus Smite combo.
113, can you steal this? It's not perfect, it should be. Callisto should be enough to just steal this, and it is. 113 tries to make the heroic play, goes golden, don't know about that call. Easy kill pickup for Upset.
This game feels so bad as a BDS fan. They did everything right in the early game, but their comp is so difficult to pull off, and they make one mistake, and then the game just looks...
And this is the thing about this composition, right? You can't be the one to make mistakes. His Irrelevant's now caught out. Upset just chasing him down. Nobody's going to be able to stop this Callisto. Mickey following up as well. Upset immediate flash over the wall. Nuke running. Paris likely next to fall. Upset won't overcommit here. Bit of poke goes his way, but Baron for the side of Fnatic, and they're just going to keep pushing in top.
Fnatic are looking so clean. They're just punishing every single misstep from BDS and just everywhere on the map. And Upset mechanically this game, I'm a fan.
I gotta say, he's been flashing in
a
lot. It's a new era for Upset. 10-1-1 on the Callista. Fnatic 4-1 again. Winning here against BDS will lock Fnatic into playoffs with 3 games left for them in this season as Razork. It's a bit aggressive here on Duke. Isn't going to really be punished too much. Might slow down the push a bit. Yeah, but overall, clean game from Fnatic in terms of coming back. Obviously, early on, BDS were leveraging their composition to full effect. As you highlighted, they did everything that they were supposed to do, but the burden of execution weighs a lot more heavily on them, and Fnatic have been more than happy to punish that.
Yeah, now it just looks like desperation from BDS here. They're trying to just cancel recalls, trying to get whatever they can. They invest the irrelevant TP, but they don't really get anything out of it. They're only going to be able to cheat this mid-wave and buy some time, but time for what?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's tricky.
But it's the Smolder went BT. He's gonna go Infinite's last item. That's so fake, the Smolder buff.
Okay. But you know why he went BT. There's a Jace Varus Nidalee.
Yes,
he had to go BT at some point.
It's the correct decision to go BT, but then you have to accept that you're not playing a buffed Smolder.
Okay.
If you accept that,
yeah, this is
then it's okay.
25.s1.1 Smolder, not s1.2 Smolder.
Yes.
Still struggling with the names there. Ooh, Ice. That'll be fine for now, but losing the Veil there, the Spell Shield, always makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah, and now what you can see is both the carries of Fnatic, both Humanoid and Upset, are so tanky. Oh, wait, what?
Humanoid caught out. Looking for a little bit more stacks. 3, 4, locked up, quick pick!
How did he get there?
30 seconds left on the Baron, they're going to take everything away. Humanoid's a very crucial...
He's their most important member alongside Callista.
I mean, the thing is, if they had just not lost the smite fight on one of those earlier Drakes, they would be so set up to get Soul here. But I don't think that death matters. That's what's frustrating. It's a good pick, good catch, but
I mean, denies them losing tier 2 bot, and it buys them time and space to play the game. Kind of want a replay of see what Humanoid did there, but as you said, it's not the most important pick, so we don't need to see it either. But it's going to come down to this Drake fight. It's going to make or break this game. And the problem that I was talking about earlier is that Upset and Humanoid are so tanky that if they're not caught out like that, and it's a normal fight, it's so hard for them to die.
All the poke lands on a single target, maybe you can burst someone down, but even then, it is hard. Might be an IE final item.
You can see even when Smolder is dead, it's hard for BDS to try to really enter into River here.
Although Fnatic has to be careful about
Mickey's on the flank.
overcommitting too hard. I mean, Upset having Cleanse available really does limit most of the playmaking potential. Humanoid back alive, does TP back into mid-wave to be here just in case. Can't afford to get caught out. Good vision from BDS to spot Humanoid moving over. I mean, some poke will land, but the BT shield eating all of that.
And Mickey's frontlining really well here with this Callisto ult. He's just not scared of anything, and he's generating so much pressure. Razork as well has a... Oh,
Exo there too. I'm not sure if he saw... He could see probably Scorch on cooldown, and then he would know. Dragon aggro is of course going to show.
They're able to get control of River here a little bit. Irrelevant's playing well here, trying to generate some pressure on the side.
Pressure. Again, Varus poke not connecting is the big thing. Is Upset can eat a shock blast as long as he can get in range to auto attack, and he will heal that up quickly. But this is pretty much exactly what BDS want. Good pick to start things off. Do they have any other angle? Poke on a Humanoid doesn't finish the job. TP. They force out the ulti. And as you said, no TP. He might just try to heal off the wave and come back to the fight. Mickey X looking for the flank. Fnatic, 4 members, but they're getting chunked away. BDS shouldn't be allowed to take this, but the poke, the patience paying off as Fnatic get lower and lower. Parrot trying to get a little bit more. Razork wants one more. Can he get another steal? No, not this time. The Jace there to seal the deal. Razork taken out. A fight may be in favor of Fnatic. While the objective is down, it's still so hard for BDS to chase, and they know it. They'll throw a few more spears, a few more shock blasts, but they'll just walk away happy to have the dragon.
Wow, I thought this game was kind of over for BDS, but they're playing slow, they're playing calculated, they're hitting the crucial skill shots. Irrelevant's off on the side, pressuring, and a beautiful ult from Ice here catches Humanoid out, and even though they don't kill him, it does the job. He's out of the fight, and that allows BDS to buy more space, which means that they can land the poke easier, and Paris is doing great here at just soaking up the pressure and walking forward, not letting him get that engage off. And even though Razork goes in, the follow-up is not there because they've been able to buy that space so that nobody can actually follow up on it. And I'm really impressed because playing these comps and playing so slow and finding these sort of team fights is so difficult, and BDS is making it happen.
They are, and this is a team that was not on the same page in so many of their previous losses. But now have to be careful about getting caught out. Mickey aggressive, and Fnatic still incredibly powerful, but Mickey might just get cut down here, trying to live a little bit longer. Will he burn down in the meantime in the Callisto? It looks like he will be able to survive.
Wow.
Really bailed out by Upset there. And again, you talked about pushing the limits, but no one was really in a position to follow up.
I feel so bad for BDS. If they get that pick, I think they can easily start the Nash, as Fnatic lose their main source of engage with the Rel. But now it goes back to a stalemate where BDS have the control of the Nash, and they will try to look to poke down Fnatic when they try to enter. But Fnatic has good wards, so they might have to drop this Nash vision eventually.
BDS, again, still have to play pretty flawlessly.
Mickey has flash.
Freedom to poke. Nice Q comes in from Ice. Little chunk onto Upset. The wave means you heal most of it up. Every little bit of damage matters. Mickey highlighted flash ulti just a few seconds away.
I think what BDS really wants is to poke out Mickey. If they can do that, it's the easiest target for Fnatic to really engage with, and it's the one person that doesn't have any sort of lifesteal or sustain.
Relevant, ready to cut the wave as Humanoid gets poked, and it's a good call. It's also their major engage source, other than Razork. So the compositions become much more comparable if Mickey's not really allowed to participate in the fight.
Yeah, I think Razork is a bit too tanky and mobile to really get too much lasting poke on him. They are getting some, actually, and Fnatic are really split up here.
Running past, Oscar off to the side. BDS caught a little off guard. Nuke taking a decent chunk.
Mickey has flash. He might look here.
Just waiting. Again, patience, the name of the game. Razork just threatening. Mickey has to be careful not to take too much poke. A battle of waves as Irrelevant just tries to cut this one. 5v5 fist fight in the mid lane.
JCQ lands, but the damage is not really high enough. It's incredibly
This is a
tense
GB game? Are we just playing dodgeball? And it's important to note, this is an insanely tense moment. It takes 1 or 2 skill shots to land for BDS on the right targets for the fight to finally feel in their favor. But it's the same as true from the side of Fnatic. They're going to try to delete Paris. Instantly goes in on 1-1-3. Able to grab the Zhonya's. Mickey follow up, upset, untouched on the wall. He's on the flank. Now they're able to retreat, flash out. Mickey a little bit in no man's land. Razor trying to zone away Irrelevant, but BDS still standing. Wave in favor of Fnatic in mid lane if they want to push further, draw BDS into them, but they might risk losing Baron if they do so.
Looks like it's going to be an equal trade here where both sides are probably just going to look to reset. So I want to do a little bit of a sums check here. Paris flashed.
Okay, sums check. You were talking about it.
Mickey used flash, Upset used flash, and on the side of BDS, Braum and Jace used flash. So now Mickey is not that much of a threat. It's hard. He's going to play more of a follow-up on the Wild. And at the same time, Nuke has to play a little bit further back, can't frontline as much as before, and Upset as well has no flash to get out of those key moments now, but he does have the GA, however. So I think his game plan can still be very aggressive. The biggest difference is that Fnatic lost their reliable engage with the Rel.
It will matter. Ice, of course, still having his flash too, so that on top of the spell shield makes things a little bit more difficult. Important to note that Humanoid has just been stacking this entire time, 428.
Mickey's on a very long flank here. Spotted out though. Neither team can really progress.
Fnatic
it's very slow.
Do not want to just rush mid wave. They don't want to risk conceding all position here and getting caught in the flank or giving up Baron.
They started the Nash. I'm very worried about this.
BDS have to be careful. Oscar does have ulti, can just throw it in the pit, but again, patience is the name of the game. Paris, though, the one eating so much damage.
Their Nash is very slow.
Ooh, heal from Italy, though, does keep him topped up relatively well. Mickey trying to spot the
Irrelevant.
flank. Locking up Irrelevant on the side, Dragon spawning as well. Mickey taking a big chunk. Does have the luxury of Upset's ult in a short time, not off cooldown quite yet. BDS slow, steady, controlled. Oscar still has ulti.
I'm worried about this Nash.
Razor can still get into the pit. Almost all the smites have gone in Razor's favor. Can he find one more? 4K, they have to finish it now. Razor taking his time, queuing into the pit this time. 1-1-3 gets it. BDS getting the Baron. But health bars are blinking. They will concede Soul to the side of Fnatic. But at least they get the Baron.
And now you're getting Ocean Soul into a full poke team comp. This is, I think I'm really happy if I'm Fnatic. I think BDS needs to end with this Nash or get 2 inhibs to really make this worth it, because this Ocean Soul has so much value against Fnatic, and Humanoid just got Infinity Edge.
Yeah, that
he's buffed.
Well, now we see buff Smolder. Woo! For the first time, 40-minute game.
Yes, 440
This game wasn't supposed to make it to 40 minutes for either side, right?
Yeah,
either
it was 15 minutes make or break.
It was BDS 15 minutes make or break, and then Fnatic was just going to win because of how the compositions were supposed to work. But credit to BDS playing these fights slow, and again, Paris 1-1-3, probably the best game we've seen from this season. You could argue the Seraphine game against G2, but I think this is even better.
Yeah, I want to like really highlight BDS that they're playing a really difficult comp to pull off, and they're pulling it off. And in my opinion, the most aggressive, the best team that is like at snap engaging is Fnatic. So if you can pull off this team against them, that means you can pull it off against any other team in the LEC. So I really want to see, even if they lose this game, try to stick a little bit to this style and refine it, and we can have a good BDS.
Yeah, push your limits. Nuke TPing bot lane to support the wave here. Does get the Baron buff down, but this is where things start to get tricky, right? Because while BDS have the pushing advantage, again, the Ocean Soul does so much work. Paris wants to keep fighting, though, trying to get a little bit more aggressive. Razor caught out, Humanoid caught out as well. There's no real fallout for BDS, however, but that spear connecting is big. But sadly, the Ocean Soul is just so strong.
So much. I don't know if they can even break the tier 2. Smolder's also so good at wave clearing, and it's so hard to step up on a wave against Smolder as he just cues the wave and then you take the damage.
I mean, Nuke is stepping so far forward just to try to proc concussive blows. They know they have to get something done. It's just so difficult.
I think this game's going to go to Elder.
Yeah, it's looking like it. Do we get another 60-minute game?
No way.
Oh, Mickey. All right, Locket can keep healthy, Irrelevant chasing. They will get the tier 2.
But I don't think they'll be able to play for inhib unless
they don't have any other waves.
They need another great poke like that to land on a member.
30 seconds. They have to be so careful about overcommitting here, though. The second the Baron falls away, Fnatic hard forward.
I just flash ulted.
Ulti on the humanoid. The damage not quite enough. Healing still coming in. Ice going to be caught out. He tried to make the hero play and he gets shut down. Desperation. It was patience for so much of the game. But Ice, too eager, too keen. The team not ready. And now Upset just gets to rip through the entirety of BDS.
Oh, and it feels so bad for Ice. You can see he's trying to make the hero play. He's trying to make it work, but it's just not enough damage, and it's too desperate, and it sets up Fnatic to get that great engage that they needed to just instantly wipe the team fight. And you can see BDS has been struggling for 30 minutes trying to get any sort of advantage, while all Fnatic needs is one good engage, and it's instantly game over.
Credit to BDS for lasting this long. Credit to them for playing such a hard composition, but in the end, Fnatic find the consistency, punish the mistakes, the over-eagerness of BDS, get their 5th win, and lock playoffs.
Wow.
In the LEC Winter Split.
What a great game from Upset. A really good, aggressive Kalista